Hello, welcome and thank you for joining TIF Talk, Protiviti's external webinar series. We're excited to bring to you part two of our three-part series today about careers within our internal audit and financial advisory practice. The series is designed to offer insight into the work we do, opportunities we offer, and the uniqueness of our career paths. My name is Shanali Chander, and I'm an experienced hire recruiter with our internal audit and financial advisory recruiting team. I am based out of our Houston office. Today, I'm joined by some of my colleagues in Houston, Chicago, and Charlotte. Let's start off with some brief introductions. Jenny, let's begin with you. Tell us a little about your career here and a career highlight.
Thanks, Shanali. Well, hello, everyone, and thanks again for joining us today. My name is Jenny Colburn, and I am a managing director in our Chicago office within our internal audit and financial advisory solution. I've been with Protiviti almost 9 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. It goes by so quickly. I graduated from the great Indiana University, go Hoosiers, before joining the workforce, and have been at two companies prior to joining Protiviti. I have so many career highlights. It's really hard to think of one to talk about. However, I think conceptually, one of the things that continues to excite me is the ability to use the knowledge that I've acquired through all of my past experiences in my career to both solve the problems of my clients and also to provide insight to productivity on how other organizations function. I think it's invaluable to have people at Protiviti who've spent their entire careers here, started as interns and continued on and are still working with us today, but also to have those of us who came in mid-career and have worked at other organizations and have history of how that looks different. We help the organization really grow and diversify. Thanks again for listening to all of our stories today. We're excited to share them. And with that, I'll turn it over to Delapo for the next introduction.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jenny. Hi, everyone. My name is Dolapa Dedeji. I am also a managing director here in our Charlotte office, and I'm part of the internal audit financial advisory solution. Just as you mentioned, I've been with Protiviti about 5 years now. Prior to that, I actually worked for some of our competitors. I started out right out of college doing external audit work. Enjoyed it for about a couple of busy seasons. So if you know, you know, and just realized, oh no, I needed to transition into internal audit. But I've been doing internal audit for over 20 plus years now. And yes, I do look 17. I understand. Do the math there. Well, what's my career highlight? To be honest with you, I'll focus on two things. One is when I see people grow. I see people start as interns. I see them now, people that have worked with me that are directors or even managing directors. It's amazing. So for me, that's one of the most fulfilling aspects of my career. And secondly is my own promotion to MD, about 2 years ago. So for me, that was a huge highlight in my career because it was always a goal for me from the first day I started in consulting. So with that said, I'll pass it on to Daniel to introduce himself. Thank you.
Thanks, Delapo. My name is Daniel O'Leary. I'm a director in our technology audit and advisory practice in Houston. I've been with Protiviti since 2015, but actually started my career in Big Four, lasted there for a few years, and then moved on to industry and worked for a major U.S. energy company before returning to professional services here at Protiviti. And honestly, if I'm going to highlight, something that is most significant since I transitioned back from industry, it is just making the decision to come back to professional services at Protiviti. It was a decision that enabled me to maximize my combination of flexibility, professional growth, and diversity of work, while also leveraging my existing skill sets and maintaining stability with my growing family. So it's been a great journey so far, and excited to see what the future holds.
Thank you for those introductions. Today's topic, Transitioning to Internal Audit Consulting, a New Career Chapter, is designed to provide valuable insight on the transition to internal audit, whether you're coming from a career in external audit or a role in industry. Please use the Q&A function today to submit any questions, and we'll have designated time at the end to answer them. Jenny, let's have you start us off. Can you share with us your experience prior to working at Protiviti? What prompted you to make a move to internal audit consulting?
Sure. So as I mentioned in my intro, I have been at two companies prior to Protiviti. Post-college, I joined EY in their IT risk assurance and advisory group. I spent about 5 years supporting external audit and SOC reporting. At the time, it was called SAS 70. Yes, I also look 17, but I'm not. Um, however, I loved my time there. I learned a lot, but I really had a yearning to see what it was like to work for a company full time. I wanted to be able to see change all the way through. I love the insurance industry. I know, shocking. And I found a home at a large P&C insurer here in Chicago. I started with their internal audit group. After about a year in internal audit, I met a VP in an area that I was auditing. And she said to me, "Don't you want to help solve problems that you find?" And I said, "Yeah, you're right." Next thing she said is, "You're hired." So I went to the dark side, depending on how you look at things. The dark side is auditing, or the dark side is the business. Hard to tell. I spent the next 7 years running back office operations for a business unit, doing all things from claims operations, financial reporting. I ran a call center, something I never want to do again. But it was great. I learned a ton, but I really did miss that client service aspect of my job. That's when I had the opportunity to join Protiviti, and I'm so glad I did. Here I've been able to do all the things that make me feel fulfilled. I have variety. I get to help identify problems because I'm an auditor at heart, but I also get to help solve them for my clients. There's no restrictions on independence as we don't provide financial statement assertions. So we have the ability to really help advise our clients in addition to helping them understand their own assurance functions as management. Additionally, I found Protiviti offers me the opportunity to be me. Outside of the day-to-day client work that I do with amazing people, I am our Central Region Inclusion Lead, and I serve as global lead for one of our employee networking groups called ProMind, which is focused on mental health issues and raising awareness of those. My parents were small business owners, and they used to say, it's not what you buy, but where you buy. I feel the same. It's not what you do, but where you do it. And Protiviti is a great place to do what you love.
Thank you for sharing your background and what led your transition into internal audit, Jenny. What would you say are some of the key differences between internal and external audit?
Great question. I answer this very frequently when I'm talking to individuals who are looking to make a move. I would say that key differences are really, some of what I've already mentioned, but we have free reign to do more. We can help implement changes in an organization, and we can design controls, which is something that a lot of times when you're an external, you're not able to do those things for an organization. We get the opportunity to fully understand what our clients do, sit with them on a day-to-day basis, and understand how they do it, not just why they do it. And we have the time to do that before we have to move on to the next audit. Also, we don't have the designated busy season. Not to say we aren't busy, because we definitely are, but those peaks and valleys are a bit smoother and come at different times as the nature of our work is not always aligned to financial statement reporting.
That's a really great breakdown of the differences between internal and external audit. What value does internal audit consulting at Protiviti bring to our clients and their business operations?
All the value. We bring all of the experience that we have, like I said, from former organizations that we as a collective group have worked at, from experience that we have across our organization, both within internal audit, but across our other solutions, technology consulting and risk and advisory. They do work in all types of organizations and all industries. So we're able to pull that in and really help our clients solve their deepest problems. The other thing is that we're able to spend the time. Like I said, we work hand in hand with our clients. We sit next to them. We really spend the time to understand what they're doing and help them think about the most efficient way to do it. And that's really, one of the biggest drivers of value that we bring to our clients.
Thank you for your insights, Jenny. Next, let's hear from Delapo on her career transition experience. Delapo, can you tell us about your personal journey into internal audit consulting and what motivated that move?
Absolutely. Thank you, Shanali. And just like Jenny had alluded to, depending on who you are and whatever you've done, you have those dark sides, okay? So when I started in external audit, honestly, for me, that seemed like the dark side. And I use the word dark side just to say it was a lot for me at that moment. So I remember for those that have been in external audit, there's a lot, or you learn a lot, which is a positive side of things, but you are spending a lot of time, a lot of hours. You don't get to see your family. You don't even get, sometimes it gets so overwhelmingly a lot for you, even physically. So for me, I think just seeing myself or considering a shift from external audit was a no-brainer. So I had an opportunity at some point in my career where I got to work on a project, and that project was an internal audit project. And for the first time, I literally sat there and said, whoa, I actually understand why we have been looking at the balances and the numbers on the financial statement. It's as if the light bulb just went off. So for me, I got to see the end-to-end process. I got to understand the controls, the risk, and I also got to understand how things make it to the financial statement. So the answer to move to internal audit was a no-brainer. I actually immediately put my hand up saying, I'm ready to transfer now. And since then, I've been in internal audit. So for me, that was the reason why just being able to understand the process, being able to understand what our clients want, being able to understand the mechanics of how the business works, and being able to recommend something to help, it was a no-brainer. It was an easy decision.
Thank you for sharing your story, Delapo. Now that we've learned about your journey into internal audit consulting, what are some key takeaways you've learned during your transition into internal audit?
Absolutely. For me, again, the good news about moving from external audit to internal audit is that you do have the same skill set, if that makes sense. But I will say some of the key takeaways, and I would like to highlight for everyone listening to this webinar is one, there's just a lot of opportunities to help your client. I think you get to make the client the hero, if that makes sense, in their story. You get to help them just apply, maybe solve a problem or even recommend or even make things better, right? Or make things a bit more efficient or even effectively. They can do things differently. And I think Jenny had mentioned earlier, one of the advantages of being in internal audit is you get to see, and also being here in consulting is you get to see different ways to do things. And you are able to bring a much more effective way to your client. So that's number one. You get to make them the superhero in the story. Number two is just, like I said, peer insights, where you get to see different aspects of things and you can even be innovative in how you think. You can say, wait, I got to see this piece in here. I got to see this piece here. What if we bring it together? Or what if we use a tool to make it better? That's what makes what we do so interesting and so fun. We come up with very unique and innovative ways of solving the problem for the client. Number three, I would say relationship building. Wow. If you want to have a lot of people in your network, come to consulting. You will get to meet so many people, both within the firm and outside of the firm. Our job is about relationships. All we do is relationships. Everything starts with relationships, both internally and externally with our clients. If you cannot build a solid relationship with your client, they're not going to listen to you. So the relationship is so key, and you get to meet so many brilliant minds along the way. So for me, that has been one of the most interesting journey. And last but not least, just because of my own type of personality, looking for the root cause of a problem and helping them solve it, that's my superpower. I love, 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 love doing that. So what exactly is causing the issue? Why are you where you are? How can we help you even be better? Or how can we transition you from where you are to somewhere better? That's our job. That's what we do every day. And I love it. So those are the key takeaways in what I do.
These takeaways and insights are incredibly valuable for anyone considering a similar transition. How has your role evolved since you first started in internal audit?
Absolutely. Again, the one thing about what we do is every day you are evolving. Every day you're learning. I bet if you ask Jenny, she will tell you the same thing. Where we started when we were consultants versus where we are now, a lot of knowledge, a lot of ideas. We challenge ourselves every day. We're training, constantly training. We're constantly learning from others. We're constantly seeing different things and looking for ways to leave things better. There was one time I remember a mentor told me, you should always leave things better than you met it. And that's Honestly, I would say that's part of why I'm with Protivity. We always think of ways to make it better for our clients, for our employees, and for any project we're on. How do you leave things better? How do you leave it not just even better, easier, faster? We think of innovative ways. So for me, that's one thing I continue to evolve in. I continue to evolve my thinking in that regard. Also, just thinking of, like I said, those key and strategic relationships along the journey. You never know when even you need to connect one client with another to help each other, right? So just having those strategic conversations, strategic relationships is very, very, very important. And last but not least, if you want to continue to evolve, you need to continue to ask yourself how and why we do things. How can we continue to do it differently? How can we do it better, faster? So those are points I would say continue to help us evolve as a company. Innovation, adding value, leaving very good memories and experiences with our customers, our employees, our clients is so critical in what we do. So I will leave it at that.
We appreciate your perspective, Delapo. We can delve a bit deeper into some of the skills and experience from other opportunities that can support you in internal audit consulting. Daniel, can you share with us how your prior experiences have prepared you for your role in internal audit at Protivity?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the question, Shanali. I think the kind of the key word that I would emphasize is it's given me perspective. I mentioned earlier, I started at Big Four, fantastic professional services exposure. I kind of understand now, having gone through that, how external auditors think and how they operate. And that helps me tremendously in working with my clients today, helping them, manage the relationship with their external auditors. As Jenny and Lapo have mentioned, you spend a lot of time, learning your craft in Big Four, and certainly learn through that what good looks like. And that helps tremendously and has served me well here at Protivity. I also mentioned I spent some time in industry, and there's fantastic perspective learned working in an industry role as well. We are serving our clients who most of them are in industry, and I've been a part of the teams that have been working behind the scenes to figure out how to respond to external audit or to internal audit. I have exposure to how management operates, and some of the things that we may not think about in professional services regarding their reporting structure and how they might have to explain something to their boss if it comes across a certain way. And that perspective has also served me well here. And then honestly, at Protivity, being an experienced hire has been a big differentiator for me because of how I can relate to my clients' challenges. I've been there before. I've been in their shoes. And that is something that helps sets apart experienced hires here at Protivity. Taking on these roles also helped me realize I didn't want to spend my life working, which was the case in Big Four. And I also didn't want to be bored going to work every day, which was often the case in my industry role. So I appreciate greatly being a revenue generator for Protivity. That's not the case in industry. And I love the fact that I've got meaningful control over my career, that's elevated beyond what I experienced in both external audit and industry.
It's great to hear how your previous experiences have shaped your path into internal audit, Daniel. Building on that, how has your industry knowledge contributed to your success as an internal audit consultant?
Yeah, industry knowledge is, I kind of think of it like a certification. It's sort of like a badge to demonstrate I've got experience and competence. It shows that I've been there. I've experienced some of the things that my clients are going through and are currently experiencing or about to experience. I can relate to them in ways that might not be possible for someone who has been a lifelong consultant or auditor. Again, that is one of those things that I think helps differentiate experienced hires here at Protivity. I'm able to comfortably relate to demands on our clients' time, and some of the priorities that extend beyond the specific topic we may be consulting or auditing with them on. And that's because of my past experience working in industry.
That's really insightful. Having strong industry knowledge definitely plays a significant role. Looking ahead, how has your experience at Protivity challenged your growth in your professional career?
Yeah, every client is different. Every project is different. Um, Unlike external audit, where we typically had guidance to go back to and rely on, we don't have guidance here. We are constantly creating, innovating, developing custom solutions that leverage our expertise and our experience and the specifics of the situation that you're working with. Um, At Protiviti, I've been challenged to constantly learn new things and execute on projects that I have limited experience with. And those are tremendous opportunities for growth. See that over and over. And sometimes it's as simple as you're working with a different client, and their environment is so significantly different than what you've experienced before that you have to figure out some of the soft skills and some of the new ways of operating that make sense in that environment. So, I mean, soft skill development with clients and internal teams has been a tremendous growth opportunity for me here. Working with different team members on different projects across different clients and figuring out the right way to communicate with my team members and communicate with my clients so we can send the right message, and that message will be heard, and understood. And also at Protiviti, people are truly our most important asset. We are the revenue generators, like I mentioned before. We are the ones that are asked to find solutions and solve problems. So we have to be constantly evolving, constantly learning new things, developing ourselves to keep up with where to develop capabilities that match where our clients see value. We're all about generating value for our clients, and that's why they bring in consultants. Um, our clients need to see us as partners, and ultimately, value generation through that partnership is how I've tried to operate here at Protiviti.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel. To round out our panel discussion, we've received a few questions from the audience we'd like to pose to the group. Jenny, how does Protiviti support professionals transitioning into internal audit consulting?
Well, as someone who was new to internal audit consulting and had been out of professional services when joining Protiviti for a good amount of time, I was feeling a little anxious when I joined. I realized quickly that everyone here at Protiviti is really open to helping and supporting each other. And that means getting up to speed for new people as well as day-to-day questions for those of us who've worked here for long periods of time. I still ask questions daily to my team members who work for me, other MDs, people in our operations, and people in culture teams. I'm constantly learning and trying to figure things out. That's just the way our world works, right? Everyone is really so open to helping that that's really been an easy transition. More formally, we also have a lot of great programs for training and developing our people. We have a great support system of advisors, both peer and career, who spend time individually working with our resources to make sure that they're getting all of the feedback that they need, as well as helping them get integrated into our organization. We also have what we call challenge schools, where we provide the opportunity for resources at similar levels across our global organization to physically get together for 3 to 4 days a year and learn, network, and work together to grow their skills. Those schools really include formal training and industry updates, as well as opportunities to learn from each other. I would say those are kind of the key areas that I would highlight in terms of transitioning into a role at Protiviti.
It's great how Protiviti supports professionals making this transition. Building on that, Dolapo, what advice would you give to others who are considering a similar career transition?
Absolutely. Another great question. I would say, look, if you're listening to this webinar, just clap for yourself because you're already several steps ahead. You see, listening to webinars such as this, and the one thing about Protiviti that I absolutely love, if you follow us on LinkedIn, we have so many thought leaderships, we have so many webinars that we provide, many seminars, information galore. You have it. So you can continue to learn from there, to learn what we do, how we do things, what internal audit is about. You can go to our website. I think it's protiviti.com. Very simple. I promise there's a lot of information to learn. That's one. Number two, continue to ask questions. I'm that curious mind. All of us here that work at Protiviti, we have that curious mind, right? You ask the right questions, you get to the right answers, right? So continue to ask questions to gain insights. 3, follow people on LinkedIn that actually already are performing that kind of role, especially those of us that are here. Reach out to us, follow us, right? Let us know that you heard from us on this webinar and follow. Ask questions. You'll be surprised what you will learn just by following people, seeing what they post, learning from what they post, and just learning about them. Last but not least, I'll say, please, please, please go to those conferences. They are very important. Go to those audit-related conferences. Also, if you have job fairs, you get to meet a lot of people there. You get to ask questions. You get to understand how this works. So I would just suggest just go out there, learn about it, ask questions, and I promise you, it makes it easier as you transition into this. It'll give you clarity on what it's about, and honestly, it'll make it easier to make that transition work.
That's really valuable guidance for professionals considering making the switch to internal audit. Daniel, reflecting on your own journey, how has your perspective on internal audit consulting changed since you made the career transition?
Yeah, simply put, it's the value a good internal auditor can generate. Value being the key word there. So prior to Protiviti, I had not worked in a true internal auditor role, but viewed internal auditors as fact checkers, and generally involved in executing repeatable audits with low impact deliverables. That was just the exposure I had. But since joining Protiviti, my view has changed significantly. We are our clients' partners and trusted advisors. Even though we've got that internal audit tag, we are consultants with them. We are helping them. We bring expertise and experience to the table everywhere we go. We know what others are doing. We know what is happening in our clients' industry. We know what is happening with companies of a similar size. We know what works and what doesn't work. We help our clients find and solve their problems effectively and efficiently. We produce tremendous value for our clients through internal audit, and I would say that's the biggest perspective change I've had since joining Protiviti is simply put the value we generate.
Thank you to our panelists and to all of you for attending today. We hope you enjoyed the session and can join us for our third and final installation of this TIF Talk series, Innovative Careers in Technology Audit, Pioneering Practices and Future Trends. You can also view our first TIF Talk, Beyond Controls, Exploring the Depths of an Internal Audit Career, on our Protiviti Careers YouTube channel. If you are interested in opportunities with Protiviti, we encourage you to visit our careers site and view our open positions. Additionally, please join our talent community to be notified first about future opportunities. Thanks again. Have a great day.